Okay, this is part one, which is how to set up your design folder, and you're going to have to create a folder using PowerPoint. You can see at the bottom, obviously got Google, Serif Draw, PowerPoint, and that's just the things I'm using to record at the moment on the screen. So if I open up PowerPoint up, the first thing is we've got to make sure everything is standardised, so every sheet will look the same, and we want to use as much of the area of the sheet as possible. So if we just go to where it's got view, click onto Slide Master, and this basically allows us to create all the slides exactly the same as what we need. If I click onto the first one, this is a master slide, and therefore I can take all that off first of all, because we don't need any of that. And the first thing I need to do is to find an image that looks okay to use as a background. So I'm using a few screens here, so if you see things being dragged on and things like that, that's why. Right, so on Google, all you need to do is click onto images, and then just type in anything to do with your product. Now, because mine's a general one, I'm going to type into graphic design, and I'll just click onto something like that. So we've got these sort of images as well, and I'm just going to put backgrounds onto mine, and we want something that really is more interesting around the outside edges. So backgrounds and search. Okay, so I've got all these sort of things down here. Now you need to pick a colour scheme, and the colour scheme that you're going to use will be something that will complement what it is you're actually designing, and it needs to resemble or give a format that you can use throughout your folder. Things like this one would be inappropriate because we're going to use the centre of our page, so things like that aren't so good. These ones are a bit dark, there has some sort of variance, does give a bit of depth, so they're okay. Clearly that would be no good, and we'll just keep paging down until I come to find something a bit more interesting. Now what I'm trying to do is choose an image that's not going to be too complex and is not going to give too much distraction from what's actually on the page. I don't want it to be too cartoony. Remember, this is a portfolio, we're supposed to be making it look, imagine you're going into industry and you're going to present this to someone. That's pretty much what you need to put in. So these colours are quite bright, they're quite nice. That one will be okay. And we've got a few more over here which we can tend to use. This one will give me a bit more of an idea of what I can use within the folder. Whereas things like this I can use most colours. So let me just click onto that one for a second and see what we've got. Things like this I tend to avoid because there's too much colour in. That's different. Try and get someone to the free. Don't worry if it's from things like Shutterstock. They tend to put their names throughout it because we can change that as we go through, because we're not really too interested. The best thing about things like Shutterstock is they always stick their logo right in the middle of the page, and that's the bit that we don't need. So blues, purples. Okay, I think I'll use this one just to start off with. Oh, I'm not too sure now. Just having a quick look down, see if there's something that grabs my attention. That one looks different. Okay, so I'm going to use that one to start off with. So all I do there is just right mouse click now. When the actual machine speeds up, because I've got a few applications open here, so mine's a bit slow at the moment because I'm recording. All I need to do is copy it. You could save it as a picture if you wanted to. I'm just going to minimise that one and drag that off the screen. There we go, and then right click onto this screen and then paste the object in. Now once I've done that, I can stretch that one going out. It's quite bland, it gives me a bit of colour from there. Just going to stretch it onto this page, and then we need to start putting our designs and elements in. Now the way that you do that is you just go to insert, click onto shapes, click onto rectangle. Just going to draw the screen that I'm actually going to draw in, and double click onto that one, change the fill to white. And then from that point of view, all I'm going to do is change the outline to a nice black outline, so it gives me a vivid sort of area. Now when you're setting up your page, do bear in mind that we've got to put a binder on the left hand side, so I'm going to make this side slightly wider than the image this side, and that allows me to do that. And the other thing that you're going to have to put on at some point is your name. Just clicked on the wrong thing there. Is your name and candidate number. And we do that by clicking into there. So I'm just going to type in insert, click into text box, away we go, type in your name, So I'm going to put GCSE, it's not product design, it's graphic design, graphic products in fact, so graphic products, and from graphic products all I'm going to do is I'm going to call this template. So I'm just going to extend that one slightly. I'm going to make this one bold, going to turn it into italic just so it looks better. I can shrink it down, font 18 is quite big, bear in mind this will be printed on A3, so I'll click on to probably 14 will be fine. Drag that down to the bottom, and you need to make sure good design has things lined up. I'm not sure if, no, you can't get the grid marks on here. So I'll try and align the GCSE up with the end of the box there, and then once I've typed my name in, try and use capitals if you can. The reason being is in design, British standards tend to use capitals, so when they're photocopied down, they're easy to read. So we try to avoid lowercase when we're actually naming things, things like titles of pages, etc. So the main text in your actual design folder should be fine, and then I'll just do exactly the same, but this time obviously just make sure that the end of your text is also lined up with the end of the box. And it's all about graphics, it's all about detail. And so, to be honest, that's pretty much where we've got on that one. To save it, just click onto Slide Master, click onto Close Master View, and then every time I click onto New Slide, I'm going to get exactly the same. And that's how we start to set up the basis of our folder. So, just to recap, keep it simple, keep the design simple, don't worry about what's inside the area onto this bit, because that's going to be where all our work is going to be. On the outside, just have something that's a bit more colourful, but it's not distracting from what's on the page. You don't want the border to be more interesting than the page itself. If it is, your work needs improving, if I'm honest. So that's what we're going to look at to start off with, and that's the first stage of setting up your template.